You asked me to figure out where this video was recorded, so I did. Hi, I'm josemonkey, and I find people who ask to be found. Guys, this video is a tricky one. When I first started, I wasn't even looking in the right country. And once I did figure out what country it was, I discovered that many of the locations I needed to look at did not have Street View coverage to help me verify the location. In fact, I'm only like 95% sure that I found the right place. See if you think it looks right. So what can we see? As this video opens, we see that this person has gotten very resourceful and written "Find me josemonkey" on their steering wheel. I really hope that comes off. Next, they lift the camera and show us this view of this parking lot. There's really not much to see here. We've got this building on the left side that has kind of blue siding near the roof. We've got this sign over here that says Magasin Export, which is French for export store. We also have a truck here which has the names of several different countries, and I noticed that it was all in French, and we have a .fr URL on the side of the trailer as well. The company that's mentioned here is Milestones and Munch. I'll come back to that in a minute. We can see a couple more vehicles parked here before the person turns the camera back the other direction. And they don't really show us much else, but I noted a few things. First, I noted this fence that's around the parking lot here. We can see this concrete pad that runs kind of alongside this building on the left. Across the street, we can see kind of a two-tiered building on the left side, and we have sort of a row of tall trees behind it. There's also what looks like maybe a parking lot or a street here between that building and the one on the right. That building has this kind of tall structure on the corner, and it has what appear to be 5 poles, maybe flag poles in front of it. And I noticed this tree that's right on the corner of the building. Oh, and we also have power lines running down this street. Okay, so where the heck is this place? Milestones and Munch is an international transportation and logistics service provider. They are headquartered in Switzerland, but they have over 100 different offices in over 35 countries. I wondered if the presence of this M&M truck here meant that this was one of their facilities. Now, obviously, my first thought here was maybe I should check France, since we had French writing and a French URL. And I looked at a few M&M locations in France, and I wasn't seeing any that looked right. Although I did notice that a few of them had kind of blue siding at the top of the building, much like we see in the video, so I thought maybe I was onto something. So I spent a bit of time looking around in France, and I wasn't finding what I was looking for. But at one point, I noticed a clue that I had originally missed. This truck that we see briefly here has a black license plate on it. Now, as far as I know, the only country in Europe that has black license plates is Liechtenstein, and I didn't think that's what this was. So I needed to try to figure out where that license plate was from. I figured the countries that were mentioned on the side of the trailer were a good place to start, and it wasn't too long before I figured out that this is probably a license plate from Tunisia. Okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Bruh, you missed one more clue.
I did?
The music.
What music?
Shh. Listen. I'm no expert, but I think that singing might be in Arabic.
Yeah, you might be right. Good catch, Chad. Okay, so Tunisia was sounding even more plausible. I found that Milestones and Munch has a site for their Tunisian operations, so I went to go check that out. And they listed a handful of locations in that country. I started checking them, and I immediately found that the Street View coverage was a little bit spotty. Some had Street View and some didn't. At one point, I found a similar looking building with blue siding, but I couldn't confirm any of the other details, so I didn't think that was right. But there was one location that I found that, despite the lack of Street View, seemed to have many of the details I was looking for. All the things I saw in the video seemed to be present in the satellite view. And guys, that was it. I think. You were here in Kasaibat Ekshot in Tunisia. Okay, let me break down how I confirm this location, and you guys can judge for yourself whether it's the right place. But before I do, let me just say that I did my best on my pronunciation here, guys. Google lists this place as Kasaibat Ekshot, which I hope I'm saying correctly. I also found that in Arabic it's probably more correctly pronounced as Kasaibat al-Shati. But I admit that these are languages that I don't have a lot of experience with, so forgive me if I'm doing a bad job with that. Anyway, let's look at that satellite view. The first thing I did was to rotate the view so that it was matching what I saw in the video. I wanted the entrance to the parking lot to be facing up. If we look closely, we can see a few things. We can see that building that is on the left side with the concrete pad next to it. We've got the fence around the parking lot. Across the street, we have that two-tiered building with a row of trees right behind it. Then we've got a street that separates that from the other building here, which looks like it has a tall structure on the corner and 5 poles in front of it, and a tree right at the corner of the building. We also can see that there are several poles going down the street here, which are probably utility poles for power lines, like we see in the video. So I'm pretty sure that's the right spot. But let me know what you think, and hopefully the person who submitted the video will confirm. Okay, it's time to check which previous location was closest to this one. And this time it was in Season 2, Episode 49, in Salerno, Italy. That's about 652 kilometers, or 405 miles away from this place. Guys, this is a new country for me, and it is the 50th country in which I've found someone so far. So that's kind of a fun milestone. Also, I don't know what the heck's going on this week, but I have had a ton of people in my comments saying, you could never find anybody in Africa. Meanwhile, this is like the 14th place I've found in Africa so far, so. Guys, if anybody else wants me to find them, record a video where you say, "Find me, josemonkey," or something like that, on camera, or hold up a sign that says something similar. And don't forget to tag me in a comment on that video.